Hey everyone, this is Ian Carlin. Welcome to A Mind for Fitness. Real change happens here on the program where we talk about the issues that really matter regarding health and fitness, regarding lifestyle and diet and exercise and mental fortitude, all that good stuff that is really going to make a change in your life and going to affect you for the better if you implement what we talk about here. And so anyway, I'm glad you made it to the program. This is a subject that I wanted to talk about for a while called crossover dieting. And the crossover dieting basically is when one camp implements a diet from another camp and tries to rework it and claim it as kind of its own. So I'm going to get into that, but first I wanted to tell you a couple of things up front about my own personal journey right now and where we are with the book. So with the book Diet Sins, it just came back. It just came back from the second editing, and so I'm going to be working today on making those edits on my end, and then maybe one more read through, and it should be up real shortly. So I know I've been saying that for a long time, and if you've listened to this program for a long time, even from the very beginning, this was the first book that I ever wanted to write, even before my current book that came out, Fasting to Break Your Plateau. Um, and I like, I like what I've said in this book. I think it's going to be useful and helpful. I think it's going to touch the lives of people, where we can kind of see where we're messing up and where we're going wrong, and then be able to implement that more, regularly, or more regularly in our lifestyle. Because in order to fix a problem, you have to, number one, be aware that a problem exists, and number two, you have to take ownership of that problem. So as long as you don't see it as a problem, as long as you're not aware of it, you're not going to see it as a problem at all. And you could be not aware of it for many reasons. You could be not aware of it because you're ignorant of the situation. You really don't know that that's a problem. Or more than likely what happens is we just ignore it. There is an ignorance factor. I do have to admit, in the diet world, there's an ignorance factor, and it's due largely to, well, quite honestly, I hope not this show, but so many voices out there saying different things. And so somebody can believe, all the live long day that they need to eat high carbohydrates and low fat and all that stuff, and they're really, ignorant of that. But more than likely, they're really, and I don't mean ignorant in kind of this, pejorative sense. I mean, they really just don't know. They really just don't know, or they've believed something, because of other reasons that just, it's not true. So there's always that factor, but then the biggest reason that I think is just ignoring. So there's ignorance, and then there's ignoring. We know the problem exists, but we don't really want to look at it. We don't really want to examine it. But once we examine it, then we got to take ownership of it. We got to say, this is the issue. The issue is I'm not setting goals correctly, or the issue is I'm cheating too often, or the issue is I'm, hanging around people who want to see me fail. I haven't broken ties that maybe need to be broken in this area. The issue is I have chosen diets that, simply will not work given my lifestyle. Whatever that issue is, you have to own it. And then once you own it, then you can change it. And that's what the book's about. So, wanted to let you know about the update there. I'm going to be working on it today. The second edit should be done today. Pardon me, sorry, I had to sneeze there. I don't know what is in the air right now, but it's something. And the third thing, or not the third thing, I guess the second thing that I wanted to talk about before we dive into today's topic was I wanted to kind of give a little bit of an update of where I'm at right now, because this summer was a little bit challenging for me, and it's interesting because this is kind of like an anniversary date for me. It was about 5 years ago now, 5 years ago, because I was 39, and and it was this time of year. I remember that I finally had enough. I've told the story, I won't tell it again, but I just got fed up, and I said, "Look, I'm not going to be, 300 pounds, 300, probably 300 plus pounds, whatever, and I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to live a healthy lifestyle. I'm going to be serious." So I've gotten, real close to goal weight on many occasions, and have had my ups and downs, as I've told everybody about it before. But this summer, I kind of really went for it. I took pictures of myself with my shirt off, and I did a side by side, and I tracked my my fasting and my fat, body composition the best I could. And I was taking pictures of meals, and I opened up an Instagram account to take pictures of those to show you the meals that I was eating. And I was doing, kind of like weekly vlogs kind of a thing. And this summer kind of ended up being a little bit of a failure for me. Well, I don't want to say it's a failure, because I learned some things, and looking back on it, and kind of coming out of my fog a little bit. I really kind of learned, like, what was going on, like, becoming aware of what I was doing, and I have some evaluations on it. So this is going to be a little bit of a vlog. I'm sure, if you're listening to this program, you want to hear this. I know that you want to hear what we're going to get to, and I promise we're going to get to that. But, part of this is to share my own personal journey. I'm just a guy with a microphone who has a dream. That's it. So, this summer, man, I missed a lot of meals. I did a lot of intensive intermittent fasting and fasting. I did a lot of intensive workouts, and I started at 217, and I got down to like 214 in like a month. And I was really super, super disappointed. And from then on, I kind of just got discouraged, and I didn't track as much as I did. And if you listen to the program, you can kind of, and if you track me online, you can kind of tell that things started to trail off a bit. I was just not being as consistent. So, um, I, I, in my evaluation, this is what happened, and I am 100% behind intermittent fasting. I still intermittent fast, but and I'm going to tell you how I'm doing it right now, and totally believe in it. Please don't misunderstand this at all. But every diet stops working at some point, and I really believe that. I believe that every diet kind of stops working, but also, if you're not doing it right, 100% right, it can have consequences. So, which is interesting, because it's like a diet. Like, if you follow like 80-90% of it up front, like, you can lose a lot of weight up front. And I lost a lot of weight intermittent fasting, but I think my body kind of got used to it. So what happened this summer was I got involved with this kind of binging and purging kind of a thing. Not purging and throwing up, but I would purge through exercise and fasting. So I got caught up in um, basically, like, what I would do is I would like go like 20 to I would go 16 to 24 hours. Most of the days were 20 to 24 hours before I would eat. And if you remember the vlogs and my posts on Instagram, that's that's normally what I would do: 16 hours to 24 hours without eating, and then I would work out like crazy, like run 3 miles, do yoga, go to martial arts all night. And so what I would do is I would come back home, and I would really feel the freedom to kind of eat whatever I wanted, because even on my watch tracker here, on my Fitbit tracker, I mean, I was burning like 4,000 calories a day, and that's just what it was tracking. And walking like 7 to 10 miles depending upon the day, and then I would eat whatever I wanted, and then I would be like, oh crap, I shouldn't. I feel justified in eating whatever I wanted, and I mean whatever I wanted. I'd eat whatever I wanted. Sometimes I would eat good, but then, but if you go, if you set and burn 4,000 calories, and you go 20 hours without eating, you kind of feel justified in eating whatever the hell you want to eat. So that's what I felt like I did. I just would do that and then go eat whatever I wanted to eat. And then I felt justified, but then at the same time, I'd feel bad. So there's conflict. So then that would go, okay, now look, now tomorrow I've got to get back on it. Now tomorrow I'm not gonna eat for not just 20 hours, not just 18 hours, but 24 hours. And I'm gonna work out like crazy. And then so then I would repeat this cycle. And I did this kind of all summer. And I think it kind of messed me up. I'm all for intermittent fasting, and I'm still doing it, but I'm not punctuating my intermittent fasting by eating crap. I am currently back. This is 2 weeks now back on a low carb diet with one day a week, one waking cycle a week to eat what I want, and I'm already losing. I'm already losing weight again. So I started it was kind of weird because I honestly, I got back up to about 219, 220. And within a week, I already got back down to like 216. And I haven't weighed myself this week yet. This is my second week. And I'm fasting twice a week. I'm just going to do two 24-hour fasts, once probably around on Tuesday and then once on Friday, just doing a 24-hour fast. Daily, I'm not going to eat. I'm not like eating when I'm not hungry. I'm not like wake up and have a breakfast or something like that. But if I'm hungry, I'm eating, and I am eating low carb meals. I am eating like really super low. Well, I mean vegetables and stuff like that, but like salads and meat and eggs and stuff like that. Kind of paleo-esque, but low carb. Um, so that's kind of what I'm doing right now, and I'm already starting to see a huge difference. And I knew this. I mean, I knew this, and I'm also backing off a little bit on the especially the running, and trying to lift weights a little bit more. Now I know that, and I've said this before, lifting weights is a lot better than running, but I get addicted to it. I get addicted to that run, that getting that 3 miles in. But like I wasn't sleeping. I think I was just burning out my adrenal glands. And like I really don't know how much I weigh right now, but like I was putting on my clothes and they were like getting tight in the belly and stuff, and now I'm putting them on again and they're starting to get loose in the belly again. So that's a big way to track your weight loss. And I knew that the reason why it wasn't working, and I try, even myself, you can fool yourself. We all need help. I was eating crap and justifying it because I wouldn't eat for 16 to 24 hours and working out like crazy and then eating crap. So, eat this big, huge, high carb meal, and a lot of stuff that I wanted, and, then try to purge it by all that exercise. And I got to say that I really think that the key right now for me is that um, I combine low carb dieting with uh, with a moderate fast, with a responsible fast, and not do 24 hours every day or 20 to 24 hours every day. I think I've kind of run the end of that 20 to 24 hours. I did that for a while. I did the warrior diet, and it worked really well. And again, on the front end of things, you can do those things and still follow a diet 80%, 90% on the front end and get away with it. But eventually it stops and you have to adjust. And so that's my adjustment right now. And I'll keep you posted. I mean, you keep listening to the program. I try to keep people updated. So that's where I am right now. And I am going to make one other quick announcement before we get into the program. And that is, even like right now, like I'm looking at my face and I can see that my face is even thinner than it's been in a while. I don't know. You can notice if you're not watching YouTube, then you can't, but I can actually see it. It's really working. So I just had to dig down, I had to do some NLP on myself, and I had to just make sure that I had my goals right and evaluated myself right. And things are going well. So, all right. So, one other quick announcement, and that is when the book comes out, I'm going to make this book and the book on fasting, because I had 3 books kind of that I was going to put into one solid book. But this book and the book on fasting is big enough that those 2 together can make a decent sized book. Those 2 books together can make a decent sized book. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that book, and so that it'll actually be a book that you can actually put in your hands and read. It'll just be like a print on demand kind of thing from Amazon. And they make it just so easy to publish. So that's where I'm going to be doing all my business, is pretty much on Amazon. You don't have to have your own website, sell it off your own website or nothing. You just put it up there and just or put a link on your website to Amazon. It's great. It's great. And if you want to go to the website, it's advancedweightlossresources.com. That's advancedweightlossresources.com. Okay. Little weirdness there. Let's get into this issue of crossover dieting. What is crossover dieting? Well, crossover dieting is this phenomenon that I've been seeing lately where camps, especially the low-calorie camp, is starting to break down a little bit and starting to steal ideas from the hormone theory camp. Now, it goes the other way too. So basically, what's happening, and I want to explain why it's happening, is you'll get somebody, one of these YouTube stars, and their channel, and they're all about like, yeah, we do six meals a day or 5 meals a day, and you got to count your calories, you got to count your macros, and you got to make sure you're low fat, and let's make sure we're running and we're not eating animal fat and all this stuff. And then the next thing you know, like later on, they're like, dude, there's this intermittent fasting thing. It's off the hook. It's great. It's so good for you. And we're going to implement this thing into our camp. It's going to help you maintain your calories, and it's going to be no sugar, And so you get this kind of crossover, or this, I guess it would call it diet stealing. Maybe that's a better name for it. I mean, diet crossing over, but diet stealing. So that's what I found. I found that this is happening a lot. It's happening a little bit with these low calorie people also trying to adopt like a low carb thing, but it's happening a lot with these low calorie people also trying to steal, particularly like intermittent fasting. I'm seeing this a lot on like a lot of different channels, because I watch a lot of different YouTube channels and listen to a lot of different podcasts and watch a lot of different videos, just because that's part of what inspires me to keep on track. So why is this happening? Well, okay, so there's 2 theories of weight loss, as everybody knows, but bear with me because this factors into why this is going on right now. There's the hormone theory of weight loss, and then there's the energy balance theory of weight loss. So there's the hormone, I should call it the hormone balance theory of weight loss, and the energy balance theory of weight loss. And these 2 are kind of at odds with each other. They're kind of warring against each other, and they've been warring against each other for a long time. Now, basically they're what they sound like. The energy weight loss, the energy balance weight loss, basically says that you're consuming more energy than you're releasing, and the way to solve this problem is by eating less and exercising more and lowering your fat intake. And the reason why they have that lowering your fat intake is because when you're counting calories, is what they do, they count their calories. Fat has more calories per gram than a carbohydrate or a protein out of the 3 macronutrients. And so a lot of these people are low fat because they see fat as more calories, and so you want to reduce your calories, so you cut out your fat. And it's okay to boost your sugar because sugar is not what's making you fat. It is energy balance. It's calories. So if you and you hear this on the Coke commercials, doesn't matter if you get your it doesn't matter if you get your calories from Coke or you get your calories um, um, from a bagel or whatever, however they put it. A calorie is still a calorie. That's their school of thought. Now you have another school of thought where you have the hormone balance theory of thought that yes, food is made up of calories. You can burn them. They burn at a certain rate, and we call those things calories of how quickly they burn. Their measurement of heat. But basically, the way your body tells what to burn and where to burn and how to burn and what to eliminate and what to pick up out of the digestive system and what not to pick up out of the digestive system depends on your hormones. And your hormones can be affected by the kind of food you eat, both in quality and in the macronutrients. So that's the hormone theory of weight loss. And this is why these people are normally low carb and they're normally low processed food. Okay, they all run in the same camp. You got just your plain low carb people, you got your paleo people, and you've got your ketogenic people, and they kind of make up this. And you got your like even just basic intermittent fasting people. Those people all kind of move in the same camp. And these people, these energy people, they all kind of move in the same camp too. And the reason why is because when they go get plates of food, it looks similar. It's not always identical, but it looks similar. If you're on a low carb diet, you might get yourself some, like a piece of chicken and with the skin on it, a piece of baked chicken with the skin on it, and some broccoli and some salad or something like that, and like a low carb person might have cheese on their salad, where a paleo person, they might get that same thing but not have cheese on the salad. And there are different reasons for that, but the plate looks like almost the same. So a ketogenic person will get the chicken with the fat on it and get the salad, and they'll make sure that the chicken is a chicken thigh and not chicken breast, and their salad will just be greens. Where maybe a low carb or a paleo person will have like maybe some onions and stuff and some tomatoes in the salad. Maybe not tomatoes on the paleo side, because paleo people are fight about whether or not who ate what when. But it looks the same. So you get this person over here who, well, some foods are going to look the same across the board. You get this person over here, and it doesn't matter if they're, on, say, Chris Powell's diet or Stop the Insanity or whatever it is. They're all going to say, hey, you know what? 4 meals a day, 5 meals a day, 6, definitely 3 meals a day. And their plate is going to be filled with things like the chicken breast, but no skin on it, like a salad, and it's going to be like a smaller salad, a smaller meal, and you're going to eat this again later with the dressing's going to be a low fat, maybe a little higher in sugar. And then the other person, it's going to look the same. Maybe they're going to have some tuna fish or something. They're going to weigh that stuff out. So these people run in the same camps because their food kind of looks the same. This is why paleo people and low carb people and ketogenic people run in the same camps. They might debate over whether or not to put onions on the salad, but they're basically going to be, their plates are going to look the same. But now, see, when I grew up, pre-internet, yeah, I'm old, and you basically, if you wanted to know about weight loss and the theories of weight loss, you had to Read books, believe it or not. Read books or go to late night infomercials and get buy some videos and some, this box set that has audio cassette tapes and videos in it and all this stuff, and and a book and workout videos and Richard Simmons and whatever. That's how you got your information. That was it. But now you see we have the success of people at our fingertips. We can look at YouTube and you can look up fat loss or lose weight or whatever, and you are not going to get one theory of weight loss. You're going to get a bunch of different people who have a bunch of different stories and have a bunch of different success rates. And you're going to get a bunch of people who follow those people, right? They follow those people. And so you're going to get somebody who's like, hey, man, make sure you eat your breakfast in the morning. And you get the people who follow them. And what's happening is these people who are following them are also listening to, you don't need breakfast, and it's the worst meal of the day, and eat when you're hungry, and make sure you eat a lot of fat. And this guy's got like 1 million listeners, and he's got 500,000 of those people emailing him, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? What about low carbohydrate? And what about sugar? Are you saying we should eat sugar and all this stuff? And what we've seen now is we've seen these people, now we can see, so there's a couple factors going into there. There's that factor, and then the factor that they see other plans that work, and their people see other plans that work. And I'm not saying that these people are doing anything nefarious or anything like that. But I mean, like for me, like I want my audience to have success. So like if I started to see something out there and started to see, well, these are successful people, I want them to have success too. What are they doing? And as a result of this, you have, I would say, just these truckloads of people who normally were like, eat breakfast every day and count your calories or count your macros, are now starting to say like, oh, intermittent fasting, watch my intermittent fasting diet. And then at the same time, and this is the problem, they haven't given up their theory, their overall theory, they haven't given up yet. So the reason why intermittent fasting works and low carbohydrates and a low carbohydrate diet works is due to the fact that you are not spiking your insulin regularly, and you are balancing out those hormones that regulate hunger and those hormones that regulate fat loss. So you're doing that through these hormones, and we know that. We in the low carb paleo community, we know that that's the issue. That's the issue. So that's that. But these people, they're taking the diet, they're stealing the diet, and then what's happening is they're saying things like, well, the reason why this intermittent fasting thing is working is because you're only eating 1 meal a day, and you're only getting, your 1,200 calories in that one meal, and that's 700 calories, 800 calories down from your 2,000 calories a day. Or if you're a woman, you eat only 1 meal a day and you're getting 1,000 calories, and it's just like, whoa, of course you're going to lose weight. You're getting 1,000 calories down, man. So they're stealing these diets, and then they're reframing them in the light of their overall theory. But that's not true. Now, I do have to say that at the same time, how much you eat does matter. So we get people on the other side now that I've seen say things like, people from my camp, the hormone theory of weight loss, say things like, well, it actually does matter how much you eat. You shouldn't count your calories, but I would say we're a little bit more like honest with what's happening. Okay, let me just say that. we're a little bit more honest with what's happening. You are not losing weight on intermittent fasting because you're reducing your calories. I mean, that may factor into it, maybe like a couple of percentages. You're losing weight because you're balancing your hormone. But now on the other side, we're getting people who are kind of coming up through the middle, that are saying that it does matter, that hormones do matter, but also how much you eat matters as well too. However, and this is the truth. This is why I tell people, like, at the beginning of your, like, whenever I have a client sit down with me, and I explain that, the type of diet they're going to go on, and their carbohydrate restricting. I let them, for the first little while, kind of eat as much other foods as they want. To go hog wild, go to the buffet and get like a big huge salad and a big bunch of meat, and just make sure your carbohydrates are under 30 grams for the day. So I'll let them do that on the front end. I did that on the front end and got great results. Is it true about how much you eat? Yes, but let me tell you this. If you but hunger is regulated by hormones. If you're really hungry, it has to do with, there are factors involved in why you're hungry. But if you eat satiating food, then you won't be as hungry later. And if you eat food that's non-satiating or causes more hunger, you're going to be starving. So on one side, you have like a plate that says you can have, your donut or something like that, and you eat that donut for your calorie intake, and you're going to be hungry later. But if you go on the other side that says, well, you have your chicken, piece of chicken, you're not going to be hungry later. Quite honestly, I will be honest with you. I tried this one time during the summer. Try to do the 5 meals a day, eating I was starving. I just did it to to shake things up in my own life. I did it for a week, and within the first 2 days, I can't remember if it was the second day or whatever, I binged. I was just like, I can't handle this. I'm too hungry. So it matters how much you eat, but what you eat and how often you eat, you balance out your ghrelin levels, which is a hormone. Sometimes people eat out of habit, and sometimes people eat out of boredom. I understand that, and that's got to be addressed too. But hunger, the actual is actually, ghrelin telling you, hey, you need to eat something, or hey, you got to eat something. I can eat. I I can eat because I have this, cheat day once a week, so somewhat or whatever. I can eat at least 6 or 7 donuts. Be honest with you. I can, just to be honest with you, I can eat 6 or 7 donuts. I can also eat, and this is part of the problem, because sugar and fat together kind of, they mess your hormonal profile up. They they really mess things up. I can't eat 6 or 7 chicken breasts or chicken thighs. I can't. I also can eat like a chicken breast, a chicken thigh, chicken breast, like a regular meal, and go on to eat 4 donuts. I could. I remember thinking about this one time because I was, it was, a day where one of the things I like to eat is I like to eat pancakes and I like to eat French toast. It's just what I like to eat. So we went to a restaurant. Me and my wife went to a restaurant. We ate. I got a meal. I think it was chicken fried steak. It's one of my favorite meals to eat on my cheat day. Get a big chicken fried steak or biscuits and gravy or something like that. But I ate the chicken fried steak. Normally we get like a side of pancakes to split between me and my wife. And by splitting, I mean she has 2 bites and I have the rest of them. And we had French toast this one day, fluffy French toast, big old triangles of French toast. And I was looking at it, and I was eating it, and I was looking at it, and I was just like, it dawned on me. Now, I didn't restrict myself because it was a scheduled cheat day. it dawned on me that basically each one of those is a donut. I mean, each one's a donut. Let's be realistic. Each one's like at least a donut. I ate my entire chicken fried steak with potatoes and biscuit, all that stuff, and I could have eaten that whole plate of French toast as well. Could have done it easily, easily. For some reason, sugar has has a tricky effect on you. Well, it's hormones. I know that. It's hormones. It has a tricky effect on you so that you can eat this. So does it matter what kind of food you eat? Yes, yes, it does. Uh, and this is why that that people in the low carb community are saying that it's not just carbs that matter, but it is the type of carbs that matter. Now, at first, when I first sit a client down and I say, you have 20, 20 grams of carbohydrate, if they want to get that all from one slice of bread or two or a slice and a half of bread or a donut, I don't care as long as they stop and as long as they have the mental fortitude to stop. But as you go on, what I've noticed is as you go on, that sweet, and it's been proven, will make you want to eat more. And so it does matter what kind of carbohydrates you're eating. That is a factor in what you're doing. So we need to, as we're adjusting, as we're moving, we need to let our hunger be the guide. And it does matter what kind of carbohydrates you're eating. I'm repeating myself. So what about diet stealing? What about this diet crossover thing? Let's bring it back to that. I don't mind people in the other community adopting intermittent fasting or something that's advocated by the hormonal camp, by the hormonal balance theory camp. Doesn't bother me one bit. However, the reason why I'm talking about this is I thought it was interesting, but I also thought that I think everybody who's listening to this needs to know why it's happening. And my plea to the other side is that you just give up your theory. Just be honest and say, look, it's not calories in, calories out. It is hormones. Because hormones are eventually going to regulate calories in, calories out, and your hormones are going to be regulated by the kinds of food you eat and the quality of food you eat, the kind in your macronutrient profile and the quality in the processed foods that you eat. So I wish that they would just come over to this side because they can see that it's working and just adopt it. Just say, look, I was wrong. It's not calories. For the most part, it is carbs and processed food. And just adopt this lifestyle because it's such a better lifestyle. And I have to admit that breaking that sugar habit was very difficult for me. But after now, just on not on this Sunday, it'll be 2 weeks that I've started this again. Feeling great, feeling really good, and I've already started to drop the weight. So that is the lesson. Eat towards your hormones. The calories will take care of themselves. And if you like what you heard, you know what to do. Thank you for listening. If you like what you heard, you know what to do. Share this on your favorite social media. Help grow this program. If you're being very adventurous, please go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. A Mind for Fitness. You can also go to Facebook at Facebook.com/Mind for Fitness and Twitter at A Mind for Fitness and YouTube A Mind for Fitness, and follow me on all those social platforms. Also A Mind for Fitness on Instagram. Not really posting too much there right now. I did a lot during the summer, but I post occasionally. Would love to see you on all those platforms. Thank you so much. Until we meet again, please keep your mind on fitness.